Daniel arrived at 7 with his truck and 2 large coffees. "You sure about this?" his brother asked, handing Marcus a cup. "Completely. They'd always been different, the Webb brothers." Daniel was impulsive, passionate, wore his heart on his sleeve. Marcus was the careful one, the thinker, the one who planned 3 moves ahead. But tonight, Marcus moved with a precision that made Daniel nervous. "This is cold, man. Even for you." "She checked into a hotel downtown instead of flying to Miami with her friends," Marcus said flatly. "Want to guess who she's with?" Daniel's jaw tightened. "You know who. Does it matter?" Didn't really. Whether it was someone from her office, someone from the gym, someone he'd met at a dinner party, the who was irrelevant. The betrayal was complete the moment she lied about where she was going. They started with Marcus's personal items. Clothes, shoes, his grandfather's watch collection. His laptop, documents, the leather messenger bag Jen had given him for their 5th anniversary. Books from his side of the shelf. The espresso machine he'd bought with his bonus, the cast iron skillet that had been his grandmother's. "What about the furniture?" Daniel asked, looking around the condo they'd furnished together. "Leave it. I only want what's mine. The TV? The couch? We bought those together. Let the lawyers sort it out." What Marcus did take were the photographs, specifically his photographs. The ones from before Jen, from his childhood, his college years, his life that had existed independently of their marriage. He left the wedding photos on the walls, the couple shots from vacations and anniversaries. Let her look at them when she got home. Let her remember what she'd destroyed. By 9 o'clock, Daniel's truck was loaded. Marcus stood in the condo one last time, looking at the space that had been home for 4 years. The kitchen where they'd cooked together on Sunday mornings. The balcony where they'd had wine and watched thunderstorms. The bedroom where she'd kissed him goodbye that morning. Her suitcase by the door, her lies smooth and practiced. "You okay?" Daniel asked. "I'm fine. You don't look fine." Marcus turned away from the bedroom. "I married someone I thought I knew. Turns out I didn't. Now I'm fixing that mistake." He left his key on the kitchen counter. Just the key, nothing else. No note, no explanation. She'd figure it out. The condo he'd rented was across town. A furnished 2-bedroom with a month-to-month lease. Temporary. Just until the divorce was final and he could figure out what came next. Daniel helped him unload, his movements careful, like Marcus might break if jostled too hard. "You want me to stay?" Daniel offered. "We could order pizza, watch the game." "I'm good. Thanks for the help." "Marcus." "I'm fine, Daniel. Really." After his brother left, Marcus sat in his new living room surrounded by boxes and thought about the moment his marriage had ended. Not this morning when Jen lied. Not this afternoon when the charge came through. But sometime before that, weeks, maybe months ago, when she'd decided that whatever they had wasn't enough. His phone buzzed. A text from Jen. "Hotel is gorgeous. Wish you could see this sunset. Sunrise, miss you already." Marcus stared at the message. The casual cruelty of it was almost impressive. She was lying to him in real time, building false memories, creating an alternate reality where she was with her friends by a beach instead of in a hotel bed downtown with someone else. He didn't respond. Instead, he forwarded the message to Rebecca with a timestamp. Then he blocked Jen's number. Friday morning, Marcus transferred half of their joint savings into a new account. Exactly half, down to the penny. He changed his direct deposit. He called the credit card company and removed himself as a joint holder. Legally, carefully, he began the process of unknotting their financial life. Rebecca called at noon. "Papers are ready. I can have them served Sunday evening, right after she gets home. She'll walk in, find the process server waiting. She'll be blindsided." Marcus. She checked into a hotel under a fake trip with fake friends. Being blindsided is the least of what she deserves. "You ready for this?" He thought about Sunday night. Jen coming home, tired from her trip, expecting him to be there with wine and questions about her weekend. Instead, she'd find an empty condo and legal papers ending their marriage. "Yeah," Marcus said. "I'm ready." "Good. One more thing, don't contact her. Don't respond to texts. If she calls, let it go to voicemail. The less you engage, the cleaner this goes. Understood. Marcus hung up and looked around his new apartment. Bare walls, unfamiliar furniture, boxes still unpacked. It looked like an ending, felt like a beginning. The notification came at 9:47 a.m. on a Thursday. Marcus was in his home office, reviewing quarterly reports when his phone buzzed. A charge alert from their joint credit card. The one they'd agreed was for emergencies and shared expenses only. $1,247.50 at the Meridian Grand Hotel. He stared at the screen, his coffee growing cold in his hand. Jen had left the house 3 hours ago, her silver suitcase rattling behind her as she kissed him goodbye. "Just 3 days with the girls," she'd said, her smile bright and easy. "We need this. You know how crazy work has been." He'd watched her load the car, noticed how carefully she'd chosen her outfits, how she'd bought new lingerie the week before. She'd said it was for herself, to feel good. He'd wanted to believe that. The hotel name glowed on his screen. The Meridian Grand, downtown, 20 minutes from their house. Not Miami, where she said they were going. Not the beach resort she'd shown him pictures of, where Sarah and Michelle had supposedly booked a villa. Downtown. A hotel Marcus knew well because his firm had held events there. A hotel with a reputation for discretion, with suites that overlooked the city, with a bar where wedding rings often came off. He set his phone down with deliberate care. His hands were steady. That surprised him. For a long moment, he sat in the silence of his office, surrounded by the life they'd built together. The framed photo of their wedding day on his desk. Jen in white, radiant, her hand in his. The coffee mug she'd given him last Christmas. World's most patient husband. He'd laughed when he unwrapped it. Now it felt like prophecy. Marcus picked up his phone again and pulled up their bank accounts. All of them. Checking, savings, the investment portfolio they'd been building for the house they wanted to buy next year, the future they'd planned. Then he called his brother. "Daniel, I need a favor. Can you come over tonight? Bring your truck." "Everything okay?" "Not really, but it will be." Next, he called Rebecca Chin, the attorney who'd handled his mother's estate 2 years ago. She was sharp, thorough, and didn't believe in second chances for cheaters. She told him that at his mother's funeral, after 3 glasses of wine and stories about her own divorce. "Rebecca, it's Marcus Webb. Do you handle divorce cases?" "I do." "What's going on?" He told her. Just the facts, the trip that wasn't, the hotel charge, the location. She listened without interrupting. "How long have you been married?" 6 years. "No kids. We have joint assets, the condo, savings, investments. Everything's pretty much 50-50. Any prenup?" "No." "Do you want to try counseling?" "Some people do." Marcus looked at the wedding photo again. At Jen's smile, the same smile she'd given him this morning before she lied to his face. "No," he said quietly. "I don't." "Smart man. Here's what we're going to do." For the next 30 minutes, Rebecca outlined the plan. Clean, efficient, final. She'd prepare the papers, have them ready by Monday. In the meantime, Marcus needed to do 3 things. Document everything, separate his finances, and get his personal belongings out of the condo. "Don't confront her," Rebecca warned. "Don't text, don't call, don't leave a note. People make mistakes when they're emotional. Just execute the plan." "What if she comes home and I'm not there?" "Then she comes home and you're not there. Marcus, you don't owe her an explanation. She made her choice. Now you make yours." After he hung up, Marcus sat in his office until the afternoon light shifted across his desk. He wasn't angry yet, that would come later. Right now, he felt something colder, clearer. Relief, almost. The uncertainty was over. The question he hadn't wanted to ask had answered itself. He picked up his phone one last time and opened his text thread with Jen. The last message was from this morning. "Love you. See you Sunday night." 2 hearts. He didn't reply. Instead, he began making calls. By sunset, his exit strategy was in motion. Sunday evening arrived with the kind of perfect weather that felt like mockery. Marcus sat in his new apartment, in a chair that wasn't his, watching the clock count down the minutes. Jen's flight from Miami, the one she'd never taken, was supposed to land at 6:15. She'd be home by 7, maybe 7:30 with traffic. The process server Rebecca hired would be waiting at 7:45. His phone sat on the coffee table, still showing Jen's blocked number. Over the weekend, she'd sent 17 messages. He'd seen the notifications before the block took effect. This hotel is amazing. Smiling face with hard eyes. Sarah is so drunk, LMAO. Beach day. Missing you. Each one a small knife precisely placed. Not because they hurt, they didn't, not anymore, but because they revealed just how calculated this all was. She wasn't just cheating. She was crafting an elaborate fiction, complete with details and emojis and inside jokes about friends who weren't there. His lawyer had advised him to save the messages as evidence, but Marcus didn't need evidence. This wasn't about proving anything. This was about ending something cleanly. At 7:38, Rebecca texted, "Server in position. She should be arriving any moment." Marcus imagined it. Jen pulling into the parking garage, tired from her weekend, already thinking about how to answer his questions. What stories she'd tell about the beach, the resort, the girls. Maybe she'd shower first, wash away the evidence. Maybe she'd already prepared her lies, rehearsed them during the drive home. She'd walk up to their condo, his former condo, dragging her suitcase, the same silver one she'd left with. She'd notice the door first, maybe something off about the silence inside. Or maybe she'd be on her phone, distracted, not paying attention until she opened the door and saw. His phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus answered. "Mr. Webb? This is Tom Patterson, the process server. I've just served the papers to your wife. She's asking me a lot of questions I can't answer. Should I give her your attorney's contact information?" "Yes." "And Tom? Did she say anything? About where I am?" A pause. "She said, 'Where's Marcus? Why are his things gone?'" Then she saw the divorce papers and started crying. "Mr. Webb, I've done this job 15 years. I've seen every reaction. This one." She genuinely didn't see it coming. "Thank you, Tom." Marcus hung up and sat very still. She didn't see it coming. Of course she didn't. In her version of reality, she was clever, careful. She'd pulled off the perfect crime. 3 days away, no questions asked. Back home before suspicion could even form. Maybe this wasn't even the first time. Maybe she'd done this before, other weekends, other trips. Maybe their entire marriage had been Marcus playing the fool while Jen did exactly as she pleased. His phone buzzed again. "Rebecca, it's done. She tried calling you, it went to voicemail. She's calling me now. Want me to answer? Tell her everything goes through you from now on. No direct contact." "You got it. Marcus, you okay?" Was he okay? His marriage was over. His wife had betrayed him. His home was gone. Everything he'd thought was solid had turned out to be built on lies. "I'm fine," he said, and realized it was true. An hour later, Daniel showed up with beer and Chinese food. "Heard it went down," his brother said, distributing containers across the coffee table. "You want to talk about it?" "Not really." They ate in silence, watching a game neither of them cared about. Around 9, Daniel's phone buzzed. He looked at it, frowned, showed Marcus the screen. A text from Jen. "Is he with you? Please tell him to call me. I can explain everything." "What do I say?" Daniel asked. "Nothing. Block her number." "Marcus." "She doesn't get to explain. She had 6 years to be honest. She chose this." Daniel studied his brother's face, looking for cracks in the composure. "You're scary calm about this. You know that? What do you want me to do? Cry? Rage? Drive over there and make a scene? Most people would. I'm not most people." But later, after Daniel left and the apartment fell silent, Marcus stood at his window looking out at a city that suddenly felt unfamiliar. Somewhere across town, Jen was in their condo, her condo now, holding divorce papers and trying to understand how her perfect plan had exploded. He wondered what she was thinking. If she was calling her friends, the real ones, explaining what happened. If she was calling him, whoever he was, the man worth throwing away 6 years for. If she regretted it, or if she was just sorry she got caught. His phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. Against his better judgment, Marcus listened. "Marcus, please." Jen's voice, thick with tears. "I don't understand. Where are you? Why are you doing this? Can we please just talk? I can explain, it's not what you think. Please call me back. Please. It's not what you think." The oldest lie in the book. Marcus deleted the voicemail and poured himself a whiskey. Tomorrow he'd go to work. The day after, he'd meet with Rebecca to discuss next steps. Eventually, he'd sign papers, split assets, move forward with his life. But tonight, he'd sit in this unfamiliar apartment and acknowledge a simple truth. He'd loved someone who didn't exist. The Jen he'd married, the woman he'd trusted, was a fiction, a performance, and he'd been audience to a show meant to deceive. The whiskey burned going down. It felt appropriate. By Tuesday, Jen was everywhere. She'd called 63 times, left 27 voicemails, sent emails to his work address, messages through social media, texts to Daniel, to his mother, to mutual friends. Each message more desperate than the last. "Please talk to me. This is insane. You can't just throw away 6 years. I love you." That last one almost made him laugh. Love. As if the word meant anything coming from someone who'd looked him in the eye, kissed him goodbye, and driven to a hotel with another man. Rebecca called Wednesday morning. She's asking for mediation. Says she wants to work things out. I told her this isn't that kind of divorce. But she's insisting she needs to talk to you. What do you want me to say? Tell her no. Marcus. Legally, I have to inform you that she's requesting a meeting. You have every right to refuse, but I refuse. Pause on the line. Can I speak off the record? Go ahead. I've handled a lot of divorces. Usually, the cheater gets defiant or defensive. They make excuses, blame the spouse, minimize what they did. Your wife, she sounds genuinely shattered. I'm not saying you should forgive her. You absolutely shouldn't. But she seems to think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. There hasn't. I know. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. After he hung up, Marcus sat at his desk in his new apartment-turned-office and tried to work. The quarterly reports still needed reviewing. The world kept turning even when your personal life imploded. His phone buzzed. Another email from Jen. Subject: "Please read this." He should delete it. Rebecca had advised against any contact. But some self-destructive impulse made him open it. "Marcus, I don't know where you are. I don't know why you won't talk to me. I don't understand what I did that was so terrible you'd leave without a word, without giving me a chance to explain. I wasn't in Miami. You're right about that, but it's not what you think. I was at the Meridian because I was planning something for you, for us. I've been meeting with someone, but not like that. Never like that. Please call me. Please let me explain. We can fix this. I love you. I've always loved you, Jen." Marcus read it twice, then forwarded it to Rebecca without comment. She called back within minutes. "That's bold. She's claiming she was planning something? A surprise party? A romantic getaway? I don't care what she was planning." Good. Because even if that's true, and I doubt it, she still lied to you. Elaborately. With fake trip details and fake friends and fake photos. That's not how you plan a surprise. That's how you cover an affair. I know. So we proceed as planned. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for next month. 50-50 split of assets, no alimony since you both work. Clean break. Unless what? Unless you want to hear her out. I'm obligated to tell you that option exists. Marcus thought about the hotel charge. The carefully constructed lie about Miami. The new lingerie. The excitement in her voice. The kiss goodbye that morning. All of it aimed at someone else, some other version of their life where she did whatever she wanted and he never questioned it. "No," he said. "I don't." Thursday evening, Daniel showed up again with pizza. "You're becoming a regular," Marcus observed. "Someone's got to make sure you're eating." They ate in front of the TV, another game neither cared about. Halfway through the second quarter, Daniel muted it. She called Mom. Marcus set down his beer. "What?" Jen called Mom, crying, begging her to talk to you. Said there's been a huge misunderstanding. that you won't listen to her side. What did Mom say? Told her if you're done, you're done. You don't make decisions lightly. But Marcus. Daniel hesitated. What if she's telling the truth? What if there really is an explanation? There's a hotel charge. A lie about where she was going. What possible explanation makes that okay? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. 6 years is a long time to throw away without even hearing her out. Marcus stood, walked to the window. The city lights stretched out before him. Thousands of lives being lived. Thousands of stories he'd never know. You want to know what bothers me most? He said quietly. Not the cheating, if that's what it was. Not even the lying. It's how easy it was for her. How smoothly she kissed me goodbye. Sent me texts all weekend. Maintained the whole charade. That means either she's done this before or she's capable of doing it. Either way, I can't trust her. And what's a marriage without trust? Daniel didn't have an answer for that. Friday morning, Marcus woke to find 40 missed calls from Jen's number. She'd somehow gotten around the block. The voicemails were increasingly frantic. Marcus, please. I'm losing my mind. Just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Don't do this to us. In the last one, her voice was barely a whisper. I'm so sorry. Whatever I did, I'm so sorry. Please come home. Rebecca called at 9. She showed up at my office. Security escorted her out. But she left this for you. I don't want. I know. But legally, I have to inform you. It's a letter. I haven't read it. What do you want me to do with it? Marcus closed his eyes. Send it to me. I'll look at it. You sure? No. But send it anyway. The letter arrived by courier that afternoon. Thick envelope, his name written in Jen's handwriting across the front. Marcus stared at it for an hour before opening it. Inside were 3 pages and a hotel receipt. He read the receipt first. The Meridian Grand Hotel. Room 1247. But the charge details showed something he hadn't noticed before. Conference Room B, reserved Saturday afternoon. And a note. Wedding anniversary planning, Web/Chun contract. Chin. Rebecca Chin. His hands started shaking. Marcus drove to Rebecca's office without calling ahead. Her receptionist tried to stop him. Mr. Webb, you need an appointment. Is she here? Yes, but... He walked past her, opened Rebecca's door. His lawyer looked up from her desk, startled. Marcus? What's? Were you meeting with my wife last weekend? Rebecca's expression didn't change. We should discuss this privately. Were you? She stood, closed the door, gestured for him to sit. He remained standing. Yes, she said finally. I was. The floor seemed to tilt. Why? Because she hired me 6 months ago to plan something. Not to. Marcus, sit down. Please. He sat. His legs gave him no choice. Rebecca pulled a file from her drawer, set it on the desk between them. Jen came to me in April. Said your 7th anniversary was coming up in November, and she wanted to do something special. She knew you'd always talked about renewing your vows, having the wedding you couldn't afford the first time. She wanted to surprise you. That doesn't explain. The hotel? We were meeting to finalize details. Venue, catering, guest list. She'd been saving for months, kept it all secret. The girls' trip to Miami was supposed to be cover while we did a final walkthrough of the event space. Rebecca opened the file, showed him contracts, vendor agreements, a seating chart with names he recognized. She was planning to tell you next week. The renewal was scheduled for your actual anniversary, 3 weeks from now. Marcus stared at the papers, at Jen's signature on the contracts, at the deposit receipts dating back to May. But the hotel charge, it came through on our joint card. If this was a surprise, her card was declined. The deposit was larger than expected, and she'd maxed out her personal credit limit buying your gift. She panicked, used the joint card, hoped you wouldn't check until after she could explain. Rebecca leaned back in her chair. Marcus, I told her this was a bad idea. I said keeping it secret for 6 months was risky, that you might notice the money. She insisted, said you deserved something perfect, something you'd never see coming. The room was very quiet. Why didn't you tell me? His voice came out hoarse. When I called you about the divorce, why didn't you say something? Attorney-client privilege. Jen was my client first. I couldn't tell you about the vow renewal without her permission. And honestly, Rebecca's expression turned cold. I was angry at her for putting me in that position. She hired me to plan an anniversary surprise. Then I get a call from her husband asking for divorce representation. I thought she'd played me that there really was an affair. So I took your case. You knew. You knew she wasn't cheating, and you filed divorce papers anyway. I didn't know for certain. Not until she came to my office yesterday, hysterical, asking what she'd done wrong. Then I looked at the dates, the charges, the timeline. It all matched her story about the vow renewal. Rebecca's voice softened. Marcus, I made a mistake. I should have recused myself from your case the moment I realized the conflict. I'm sorry. Marcus couldn't breathe. His vision tunneled. Everything he'd done in the past 4 days, the precision, the planning, the cold efficiency, it all replayed in his mind like a horror movie. Jen packing her suitcase, excited about her secret plan. The hotel charge coming through early, ruining everything. Her coming home to an empty condo and divorce papers. Her desperate calls trying to explain. Him blocking her number, refusing to listen. Oh God, he whispered. What did I do? You protected yourself based on the information you had, Rebecca said. But even she sounded uncertain now. Marcus, from your perspective, I destroyed my marriage over a surprise party. You didn't know. I didn't ask. He stood abruptly, the chair falling behind him. She tried to tell me. She called, she emailed, she begged me to listen. And he didn't finish. Couldn't finish. Marcus drove home, not to his new apartment, but to the condo. Their condo. His hands shook so badly he could barely hold the steering wheel. It was dusk when he pulled into the parking garage. The same garage where Jen had packed her suitcase 4 days ago. For days. Felt like a lifetime. He took the elevator up, his reflection in the mirrored walls showing a stranger. Hollow-eyed, pale, shattered. The door to their condo was unlocked. Inside, chaos. His wedding photos lay face down on the floor. The kitchen was a disaster, broken dishes, spilled wine. The bedroom door was open, revealing unmade sheets and clothes scattered everywhere. And in the middle of the living room, surrounded by contracts and vendor agreements and 7 months of secret planning, sat Jen. She looked up when he entered. Her face was blotchy from crying, her hair unwashed, still wearing the same clothes from Sunday night. The divorce papers sat on the coffee table and signed. Jen, don't. Her voice was raw. Don't say anything. I can't. I don't want to hear it. Marcus knelt in front of her, his hands shaking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Rebecca told me. About the vow renewal, the planning, everything. Jen, you thought I was cheating. She laughed bitterly. I spent 6 months planning the perfect surprise, and you threw me away in 6 minutes. The hotel charge. I know. Panicked. I should have just told you, but I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to give you the wedding we never had, the celebration we deserved. She gestured at the papers around her. Look at this. Flowers, music, your favorite restaurant catering. I invited everyone, your college friends, your mom, even your boss. I wrote vows, Marcus, real ones, about how you're the most patient man I've ever known. How you've built this life with me brick by brick. How I wanted to stand in front of everyone we love and choose you again. Tears streamed down his face. I'll fix this. I'll call Rebecca. Withdraw the papers. You can't fix this. Jen's voice broke. You left. Without a word, without a question, without giving me the chance to explain. You just left. Like 6 years meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. You mean everything. Then why didn't you ask? She stood, papers scattering at her feet. One conversation, Marcus. That's all it would have taken. But you didn't trust me enough for that. You saw one charge, made one assumption, and ended our marriage. He reached for her. She stepped back. Don't. I can't do this right now. Jen, please. I need you to leave. This is my home. You left it. You moved out. You filed for divorce. So no, this isn't your home anymore. This is where I live now, apparently, with all my stupid surprise party decorations and my handwritten vows and my broken heart. Marcus stood in their living room, her living room, and felt the full weight of what he'd done crash over him. He'd been so certain, so sure of her betrayal. He'd executed his exit strategy with military precision, proud of his composure, his logic, his control. He'd been wrong. Completely, catastrophically wrong. "What do I do?" he whispered. "Tell me what to do." Jen looked at him with eyes that held more sadness than anger. "You go to your new apartment. You give me space. And you think about why your first instinct was to leave rather than ask. Because Marcus, that's the real problem here. Not the hotel charge. Not the miscommunication. The fact that when you thought I'd betrayed you, you didn't fight for us. You didn't even ask. You just walked away." She was right. He knew she was right. Marcus left, the door closing behind him with a soft click. In his car, he sat in the parking garage where this had all started and let himself finally break. Tears came in gasping sobs that shook his entire body. He cried for the surprise he'd ruined, for the trust he'd broken, for the wife he'd abandoned. For days ago, he'd thought he was being strong, decisive, protecting himself from further hurt. Now he understood the truth. He'd been afraid. Afraid of confrontation, of vulnerability, of having to fight for something messy and complicated and real. So he'd done what he always did. Planned his exit, executed it perfectly, protected himself, and lost everything in the process. His phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "Where are you? Mom's worried." Marcus stared at the message, then typed, "I made a terrible mistake." 3 weeks later, Marcus sat in the same restaurant where he and Jen had their first date. Across from him sat his wife. Technically still his wife, though she'd moved into the guest bedroom and stopped wearing her ring. They'd been doing this for weeks. Dinner twice a week, awkward and painful and necessary. Talking about what went wrong, what they'd both failed to see, what they needed to rebuild. "I keep thinking about that morning," Jen said quietly. "When I kissed you goodbye. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to see your face when you figured it out. When you realized what I'd been planning." "I'm sorry," Marcus said for the 100th time. I know you are. But Marcus, sorry doesn't fix broken trust. It doesn't erase the fact that you left me. What do I do? Tell me how to fix this." Jen set down her fork, met his eyes. "You can't. Not quickly. Maybe not ever. Because the truth is, I don't know if I can be with someone who runs when things look bad. Marriage is going to have hard moments, real ones, not imaginary ones. What happens next time you think I've hurt you? Do you leave again? No. Never. I swear. You can't promise that. Neither can I. That's what I've learned from this whole disaster." She smiled sadly. "We're both capable of terrible things when we're scared. Me lying about where I was. You leaving without a word. Maybe that means we're not meant to be together. Don't say that. Or maybe it means we have a choice. We can let this destroy us or we can rebuild. Slowly. Honestly. Without assumptions or secrets or perfectly executed plans." She reached across the table, stopped just short of touching his hand. "But Marcus, I need you to understand something. The man I was planning that vow renewal for, the one I wrote those speeches about, he trusted me. He would have asked questions before jumping to conclusions. I need to know if that man still exists, because I can't build a future with the one who filed divorce papers 12 minutes after seeing a hotel charge." Marcus looked at his wife's hand, hovering near his, at the pale line on her finger where her ring used to be, at the woman he'd almost lost because he'd been too afraid to ask a simple question. "I want to be that man again," he said. "I want to earn back your trust, however long it takes." "Okay," Jen said softly. "Then let's start with tonight. No assumptions. Just honesty." She pulled her hand back, but she smiled. A small smile, fragile and hopeful. It was enough. It was a beginning.